teams, get ready to go. Shoot, promo, shoot, promo. Stating your opinion, are you serious, bro? Shoot, promo, shoot, promo. Talking about some wrestling for just a little bit. Shoot, promo, shoot, promo. Tagged explicit so we can say shit. Fucking shoot, promo, shoot, promo, shoot, promo, shoot, promo. Fight for your life, wait, not your life just for a prize. There is no prize, just fucking fight. Do it, do it, do it, do it. Shoot, promo, shoot, promo, shoot, promo, shoot, promo, shoot, promo, shoot, promo. I shut the promo, but I do not shoot the deputy. Shoot, promo, shoot.
Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, wherever you are in internet land. Welcome to another edition of Shoot Promo, the only wrestling game show in the world. I'm your host, Red Reddington, and we have another two teams of three wrestling fanatics ready to dissect, discuss, and dilute the past week of wrestling. So let's have a look at this week's teams. Team A this week have called themselves Team Laryngitis. And of course, the team captain is the cause of much of the hot air in the US and UK this week. It's RedMachineD.
I'm the captain.
Not sure if that was a Captain Pugwash impression. Bringing the laryngitis this week, slightly ill, it's Punker. Or not. As the case may be.
Actions giving out.
Oh, okay.
But I almost didn't come this week because I had to deal with a patient who may have been a wrestling fan. I can't specify because that would violate privacy laws. But if I told you that he was trying to mistaking them for steroids, that goes without saying.
Right, we got the gist of the joke. Yes, the connection is going. Let's go. And then we're joined by Shoot Promo's rising star, so let's hope the harness doesn't break. It's DoctorDuckTape.
I was just imitating the crowd reaction Zack Ryder got on Monday Night Raw.
Okay, let's go over to the other team, which this week I've called themselves Team Wobblecore, which led by WindowDump. And he's joined by one of his partners that are not necessarily sexual, the everyone's favorite N64 game. It's Mr. GoldenEye.
What does everybody want?
Head.
Dubstep.
Head.
And due to manic misanthrope this week suffering from a job interview, he may be out with employment for several weeks or months or years. They are joined by NotRico.
We wish Manic Misanthrope the best in his future endeavours.
Hey.
And of course, we are joined by our studio audience who are here to boo, cheer, or sing Bohemian Rhapsody. Say hello,
Not
audience.
Yay!
I like the way.
Is this the real life?
Right,
Is
stop
this
it.
just fantasy? Okay.
Okay. Okay, let's go through the rules. We're 10 shows in, but you know there might be some people out there who don't know how this works. The teams out will attempt to answer.
Nice one, Omega.
We have
Omega.
Omega providing the laugh track this week.
Hey,
What's going on?
Oh, no,
God damn it, Omega!
Shut
Shut
up,
up!
fighting in this colony.
There we go.
We've been Omega sectioned.
Oh my god. Okay. The teams will attempt
Everybody
to answer
talks
questions.
much.
Alright, we'll edit that bit. The teams will attempt to answer questions about the past week in wrestling, as well as taking part in some more improvisational rounds. Along the way, they'll be awarded points for being funny, positive, and original, whilst having points deducted for moaning, groaning, and making, sweeping generalized statements. Or making John Cena jokes, I suppose, as well. Points will be awarded and deducted with accompanying sounds. For example, if the team says something funny, they'll be awarded 1 point, and they'll hear this noise. Oh, God, that's so loud! If they say something funnier, they'll be awarded 2 points, which sounds like this. And if they say something hilarious, they'll be awarded 3 points, which sounds like this. On the other hand, if they start drifting too far off topic or say something terribly unfunny, I'll deduct points, which sounds like this. So, seeing as we're not expecting a run-in from Ricky this week, we might as well start off with winners and losers. This opening round allows the panel to build up an early lead for their team by each of them telling us who they feel were this week's biggest winners and or losers. For example, you can say this week's biggest loser was the swivel chair that was thrown out of the ring by CM Punk on Raw. The back wheel was snapped off, and reports suggest that the swivel chair will be out for 6 to 8 months. You could say that this week's biggest winner was the swivel chair, because at least it got to be WWE champion for 5 minutes or so. So, that being said, teams, who do you believe are this week's biggest winners and or losers? Let's go to Team Laryngitis and RMD, your winners and or losers for this week.
I believe the biggest winner of the week is Zack Ryder, because this week it was confirmed now that Zack Ryder is going to be riding on the shoulders, or, some might even say be standing on the face of John Cena as he makes his way up the card. It's a great thing because John Cena is once and for all finally put somebody over without putting them under him. And this week's losers, I hate to do this because it's so cliche, but the biggest losers, ladies and gentlemen, are TNA, because they have finally just given up on everything with the booking decisions, and especially the decision lately to hold all the tapings for Impact in January in a span of 1 week. That's right, an entire month of wrestling is going to be taped in 5 days. And the spoilers for an entire month coming out on the internet, all in 1 week. I am without words to describe just how blitheringly stupid that is. And it just sets TNA up for even greater failure in the future. So, until further notice, TNA is the loser of the week every week, as far as I'm concerned.
I think you did actually invent a word there that kind of describes TNA's situation. I believe it was which I think we should just use every week. It's no longer no longer LOL TNA. It's TNA. Let's move on.
I agree with this statement.
Let's go over to WindowDump, your winners and or losers for this week.
This week's winner is, of course, Derek Bateman, who finally won the biggest prize that NXT has to offer in all of its 5 seasons, a match on SmackDown. So be sure to tune in to SmackDown on Siffy this Friday and see Derek Bateman in the ring. And he doesn't actually get anything. He's just getting a match on SmackDown. That's cool for him. And of course, this week's biggest loser is John Morrison, Leave the Memories Alone. Not only did his limo explode on Z True Long Island Story, but his former best friend The Miz buried him underneath a dirt sheet, and then Executive Vice President of Talent Relations and Interim General Manager of Raw, John Laurinaitis, wished him the best of luck in his future endeavors, which of course means that, in a couple of months we're going to be asking, what's Johnny Impact doing in the Impact Wrestling Zone where wrestling matters? So, let's just have a moment of silence for John Morrison to remember, leave the memories alone, don't change a thing.
I gave you a point there for the pronunciation of Siffy. That was great. We did that joke last week, but you weren't here, so I felt like giving you some sympathy points. I should take some away for you not being here.
Don't you
anyway,
get some simpy points?
Some simpy points, indeed. Let's go over to Punker, who needs our simpy this week. Punker, your winners and or losers this week.
Well, not to do any back placement, but for this week, the winners are the Shoot Promo fans who happen to have a PS3, because now you can bring it to your home 24/7 through WWE 12 Community Creations. Tired of seeing Super Blizzard selling off his guitar to pay rent? You can instead have him smash it into the eFed-created Breewooth Deathmatch. Or if you're more of a fan of realism, you can send Cobra T. Washington and Brad Reddington to the ball pit to have a writer's block on a pole match. Losers. Obviously, the one is Brodus Clay for not debuting once again. However, he is bumped up to the winner's corner for it being by John Laurinaitis on it. He's also going to be more over through the fact kids are going to start playing Find the Brodus Clay as opposed to playing Find the Spy at the airport, and the debut of indie game Brodus Clay Forever, where he wrestles through legions just to kick ass with Johnny Ace. He's here to kick ass with the razor blades and drink lemon juice, and he's all out of lemon juice, so you better like it or you can do nothing. But in a world where imitation is the sincerest flattery, you may as well be like him and do nothing about it at all.
I should just say I fully endorse the Shoot Promo Arena on WWE 12 Creations. Thumbs up. Let's go over to GoldenEye, your winners and or losers for this week, sir.
This week's biggest winner, I have to feel, is John Cena. He got his WWE title match, then promptly decided to give it up for a person who wants a U.S. title match. And I think the thing that everybody respects is the fact that he said, I got where I am today by people giving me a chance, which I really think that is what needs to happen to Zack Ryder. I can see some good stuff in his future, or he might get buried one way or another. This week's biggest loser is Jeff Hardy for making that weird Burt Shadow video, in which he could have probably just cut out 30 seconds of it, put it on TV, and made it into an anti-drug PSA commercial.
When I first saw that video, I thought it was another one of those It Begins videos, but unfortunately, no, it's just continuing, and it's still doing drugs. Let's go over to DoctorDuckTape, your winners and losers.
My winner this week is going to be Mr. John Laryngitis, Executive Vice President of Talent Relations and interim General Manager of Monday Night Raw. Despite being gifted with a huge dosage of what appears to be throat cancer, he's managed to get himself over with me simply because the guy is fucking hilarious. I hear them when he was just with backstage shenanigans with Vince McMahon, but once he started wishing John Morrison the best in his future endeavors, and the fact that he's now dubbed himself Mr. Excitement, it's just, I love the guy. I can't wait to see more of him and Punk interact. My loser this week is going to be the show-off Dolph Ziggler. For two reasons. His main event push has been delayed somewhat, to give the title, hopefully give the US title to Zack Ryder. But that also involves jobbing the Ryder, which will put in question his main event status, and the fact that he's probably going to be forced to do more headstands, which is utterly fucking retarded.
Hey, I like Dolph Ziggler doing headstands because I can't do headstands, and therefore that makes him better than me. And we all know how great I am. And lastly, to round us off, it's not Rico, your winners and or losers this week.
Well, my winner for this week is Dusty Rhodes, and due to that, the WWE Universe, for him finally getting on Twitter and providing some of the funniest tweets this side of CM Punk. My loser this week is Vince Russo, due to his ideas being stolen and manipulated without him getting any form of royalties, due to the creation of the sledgehammer on a ladder match. I wonder if it'll be on a poll as well. Russo, you should file a lawsuit.
The idea that Vince Russo was one-upped by the WWE is
That's pretty scary.
Yes, that is quite scary. God help us if both knees get blown out by Kevin Nash.
By quads.
I'm expecting
Both
4
quads.
quads being broken.
If 4 quads get blown out, then they'll have to send out Rey Mysterio, who will then ultimately injure his knee, and then they have to send out Tim White, the referee, who will ultimately do his shoulder in.
And then Vince McMahon will come down to the ring and get in it and blow his quads out too.
And then Squadar will return and end up doing a dive onto everyone, botching his other knee as well.
And then Mr. Anderson will debut, and, well, you know where that's going.
And then at the end of all that, Mr. McMahon is just going to get tired of it, and he's going to just stomp his ass down to the ring, and as he's getting in the ring, he blows out all 3 quads.
Well,
okay, let's...
And then someone's neck gets hurt and become a quadplegic. D'Lo Brown chants it out.
On that note, let's have a look at these scores at the end of that round. Team Wobble Wobble Wob Wob are on 14 points, whilst Team Laryngitis soaring to the lead with 18 points. Let's move on to our WWE round, which this week is all about intensification. So, team captains, who have you selected to turn up the heat on this round? RMD, who have you selected from Team Laryngitis?
DDT, you're on.
DoctorDuckTape, and from Wobble Wobble Wob Wob, who have you selected, WindowDump?
I chose the most tense video game of all time, GoldenEye.
GoldenEye versus DoctorDuckTape. Okay, let's have a look at this week's question. This week on Raw, John Cena suggested that the only way to make the feud between himself and the greatest all-round entertainer of the biggest era in professional wrestling would be to put a belt that on average has only been held for a month on the line. Wow. It's definitely something big there, John. But I think we can go one better. In fact, I bet we can go 2 or 3 better, or 7 better than that. So, how would you make The Rock versus Cena the biggest main event of all time? So, how would you make The Rock versus Cena the biggest main event of all time? Let's go to GoldenEye first. Rock versus Cena, intensification, all of that shit.
Alright, first of all, about a month before the match, Barack Obama has a statement on television, and he goes, I would like to give the world's nuclear program to whoever wins the match between John Cena and The Rock. And so the two end up having the match, but it turns out that not only is it for the nuclear program, but it's also for the entire moon. That's right, if whoever wins the match will end up getting their face on the moon for everybody to see it every night as they go to bed, which would be pretty creepy. And then, out of nowhere, Tim White comes out and ends up pinning both John Cena and The Rock at the exact same time, and so Tim White's face goes on the moon, in which he promptly tries to commit suicide again. And then Sin Cara botches it, and his face ends up on the moon, and yeah, that's about it.
Right, okay. All I have to say is DoctorDuckTape, faces on the moon, top that.
Ooh. Okay, well, it all begins at the Royal Rumble with Hitler, the zombie Hitler, making a surprise appearance. Promptly winning the Rumble, he goes on to Elimination Chamber, where he puts his spot up against John Cena for the WWE title. Eventually, John Cena does the biggest heel turn in history, enjoying the Nazi regime and eliminating all the WWE superstars. But then promptly turns face again because, you know, it's John Cena. He can't stay that long. Heel that long. The Rock then joins Hitler out of fucking nowhere at Elimination Chamber, deciding to take the WWE Championship down to Nazi Germany, where it's defended in concentration camps. Eventually, John Cena has to... The main event of WrestleMania is no longer set in the WrestleMania Stadium by itself. It's now a full month-long event where John Cena has to single-handedly infiltrate Nazi Germany just to retrieve the WWE Championship and drag The Rock back to Miami for his match. At the end of the match, where John Cena AAs The Rock and is going for the 1, 2, 3, Hitler pulls the referee, who is also a Nazi person, out of the ring, and David Arquette manages to come down and counts John Cena out. And then the Vincent Kennedy McMahon will fire everyone, including Hitler. The end.
What?
Hey, remember a few weeks ago when we
I just
were
thought
talking about
I'm
the
on the
jobbers
go.
going to the gas chambers?
I just want to point out one thing. It said intensification, not Russification, but thank God.
got buried.
I think
Can
John
you get
Cena
any more
invading
intense
Nazi
than
Germany
John
would
Cena in Wolfenstein 3D?
WWE Films presents the Marine 4. This time, it's for the championship.
2 points for the audience there. 2 points. Dear God. Okay. Let's have a look at these. Let's have a look at the scores. We've peaked too early. With 21 points, our team Wob. But somehow marching into the lead, hopefully not in a Nazi salute, our team Laryngitis. Oh my God. Let's try and move on.
Stepping into the lead.
Goose
Oh my God.
What's the score for them?
It's 27 points. There's a 6-point lead there. Let's go into our free-for-all round, which is entitled Product Placement. As we all know, the WWE likes to create alternatives to the usual generic merchandise of t-shirts with penises on them, and slippers that look like penises, and stone-cold condoms, ensuring you get to the bottom line. On Raw this week, the Wob network was revealed in true dubstep fashion, along with some shows that will be appearing on the channel. So with a whole week's worth of programming space, I'd like the team to suggest some TV shows ideas that might fit into the following categories. So I'll give you a category, and anyone can jump in and suggest some shows. Our first one this week is a cooking show. So any cooking shows branded with a superstar.
If you smell what the Rock
Cooking
is
with Kane.
Smell what the Rock is cooking. There we go.
Cooking with Kane.
You got to make sure the spice is right with Heath Slater, Evan Bourne, and R-Truth.
Oh my God.
Ted DiBiase, Cooking Without Heat.
Jim Ross's Broken End Barbecue.
Eddie Guerrero presents Latino Heat.
I missed Punker's one. What was Punker's one? Sorry.
Jim Ross's Broken Half Barbecue.
JBL, Cutlery God.
Cooking with Brodus Clay. The only way to feed a 300 to 400 pound mastodon. Yeah.
Daniel
Daniel Tommy Dreamer.
Daniel Bryan, how to mutilate cattle and still have a vegan meal.
The Matt Hardy cooking show, which leads to Matt eating all of the ingredients.
Or you could just expand that. The Hardy cooking show. Jeff makes all of his ingredients out of weed and crack, and then promptly Matt Hardy eats them.
And then Jeff does a swanton for no reason.
Alright, let's move on to another.
Wait, one more.
Alright, go on then.
Pizza Time with Test.
Oh!
That's...
I'm going to give you a point, and then we're going to deduct a point, because that's just bad.
Oh.
Good, but bad.
One from
Cooking
the
with
audience.
the Divas.
Vicky's...
It's fucking nothing because they're anorexic.
Alright.
One from the audience. Vicky's Flame Broiled Barbecue.
Oh, that will do. That's a good point for the audience there. You can have a point, audience. Okay, let's move on to our second category. Home shopping. So home shopping from WWE Network.
John
Jerry
Cena. John
Jerry
Cena
Lawler
presents
presents
his
the
salad.
best in preteen clothing.
Oh.
Sin Cara's designer sex toys. It'll be...
Dripping with gold.
At the beginning, there was about 3 at the same time, so I think NotRico and WindowDump were there as well. I'll let NotRico go first.
Goldust's jewelry show.
Ah, good. And WindowDump?
Well, it's a big shopping show.
With John Morrison.
I missed that one, sorry. DuckTape, what'd you say?
Flippy shit with John Morrison.
Is it like flip phones and calendars?
Yes, yes.
Triple Eats.
Cena sells.
I was about to use that one.
The best in Home Improvement with Triple H.
Unique home solutions with Jim Ross, including the 20-foot ladder harness, because you don't know how to fall off a 20-foot ladder.
CM Punk's home furniture, there isn't any cutting corners with his straight edges.
Oh, that was a good pun.
Triple H with his gardening tools.
The Good Father and the Godfather with his gardening tools.
You have a
Stevie
point for that.
Richards is featuring the best in audio video because he'll show you, you'll see.
Oh, that's perfect.
Okay, let's move on.
Okay, I got a last one. The best in vacuum cleaners, hand dryers, and hair dryers by the SmackDown production team.
I was surprised that no one mentioned the Scott Steiner egg maker, which stops your women from being fat. One we came up with.
Or unless you wouldn't buy it unless it was sold by him.
Our third category this week is an Animaniacs-style tune show. So, an Animaniacs-style tune show. I know you can't improve on it, but Animaniacs.
The Sin Cara twins.
A animation show drawn by Zack Ryder. Of course, that show just happens to be about money, because Zack Ryder draws money.
Money.
How about like a show with all the random jobbers on it, like Tyler Rex and Kurt Hawkins and Drew McIntyre and Tyson Kidd? We could call it Mid-Card Mafia.
Ed, and Eddie.
What?
With who?
Eddie Guerrero.
Ah.
Aurora Rose's sandbox. She buries all his toys.
Hornswoggle, Detective in Time.
I want to see that movie for some reason. Right now, someone make Hornswoggle Detective in Time. Any more?
The Sin Cara show. The production cuts out halfway through.
And lastly, not Rico, I'll let you round this round off. Go ahead.
Seamus's Laboratory. How to make your hair ginger. And your skin all white.
Simply
I got one.
stay inside all day.
I got one. All right. The Adventures of Eve. You know, a good time for both girls or possibly boys.
A point for the audience. Okay, this has probably been the highest scoring shoot promo ever for episode 10. The end of that round on 42 points. Our team Laryngitis jumping ahead with 43. Our team Wobble Wobble Wob Wob. Oh, sorry, Wobblecore Wob Wob, not Wobble Wobble. That's more jelly than dubstep. The audience
Wobble Wobble Wub Wub sounds like Brodus Clay jumping into the ring.
Hey, this isn't going to be for points, Red, but I just thought of a cooking one that probably would have won me the entire round.
Go ahead, go on.
Kelly's roll-ups. Alright, no points or whatever, I'm just saying.
It's a shame. That was a good one. Okay, let's move on to this week's TNA round, which is all about gender stereotypes. So, which members of your team have you selected to be all stereotypical and shit? RMD, who have you selected?
Punker's gonna have to do this one.
For feminism, excellent. And Team Wobble Wob. I'm gonna keep saying Wobble Wobble now. Team Wobblecore Wob Wob. WindowDump, who have you selected?
Not Rico.
For feminism. Vaginas everywhere. Okay, let's have a look at this week's question.
Vaginas everywhere.
On Impact this Thursday, a lot of time was dedicated to the knockouts, washing cars, and bikinis. I don't know why. In fact, I don't care why. In fact, during much of this segment, I didn't care about anything. Or anyone. I was lost in soap, water, and bikinis. Anyway, we on Shoot Promo are against gender stereotyping, so that's why, for the sake of comedy this week, we're doing a round about it to raise awareness in the community. So, teams, this week I would like you to suggest ways that TNA could avoid stereotyping in their promotion for either males or females. So, ways that TNA could avoid gender stereotyping. Very serious topic. Let's make it funny. Punker, you can go first. Avoiding gender stereotyping.
Well, you could start keeping the knockouts matches that end up going outside of the ring, outside of the kitchen, but knowing their way, they'll botch their way in there and mess it up. You could have Scott Steiner being less of the big Papa Pump and making the booty calls and aborting his pregnant daughter's fetuses the moment he finds out. You could also let the knockouts title go back to the men because, well, you could also have the women compete for the X Division because what were there about limits? There weren't any limits. Oh wait, all the limits are there.
I would like to say that
I really don't have anything other than that.
Well, Trinity did compete in the X Division, but I won't deduct points because you're ill this week, and some people might see it as sexist. Let's go over to NotRico. Ways to make TNA less stereotypical.
Well, first of all, you could balance out the knockout thong thing, whatever it was called from the other week, by having the current champions perform in it. Who looks the best in a thong? Also, Hulk Hogan can book his daughter Brooke and put her on the male roster, and in various television tag team title matches. Not tag team. And they could unify the women and the men tag team titles for a mixed team tag title. I'm sure Taz will botch that lineup quite a lot.
Okay, some serious suggestions there. It's good to see. We got a little break of seriousness. Let's have a look at the scores after that round. Switch around, I'm afraid. With 46 points, a team Wobblecore Wob, and jumping ahead with 47 points, our team Laryngitis. Let's move on to our second free-for-all round this week. It's the returning odd one out round. This is where I give the teams a triplet of people and or items, and they must suggest which of the three is the odd one out. For example, the triplet could be Triple H, Kevin Nash, and Twilight. The odd one out there is clearly Twilight, as it's the only one that actually sells. So let's... Hey-oh! We had worse suggestions than that, seriously. That was the most kosher one. So, now let's have a look at... So it's a free-for round, so anyone can suggest them. This week's first triplet is Vicky Guerrero, Jack Swagger, and a tub of ice cream. So Vicky Guerrero, Jack Swagger, and a tub of ice cream. Which one is the odd one out there?
Vicky Guerrero.
I was going to say, okay.
Oh, Vicky Guerrero, because she's the only one that has heat.
Damn it.
Jack Swagger due to having the least fat content. This is
Vicky
Vicky
Guerrero.
Guerrero circa a few years ago, by the way.
Vicky Guerrero, because the other two are vanilla.
Jack Swagger being the one left out of Girls' Night Out.
Vicky Guerrero due to have her having no taste.
Jack Swagger, because let's face it, Jack Swagger can't eat himself out.
We do when we come up with these rounds, we decide that the round will be good only if we can come up with an answer ourselves, and that was my answer for this round. So
I like my answer better.
5 points.
Let's move on.
Okay, I got a last one.
Me too.
Okay, say it then.
Ice cream, because it's the only that Michael Cole hasn't buried.
Okay, well,
I was gonna
if
say
Red is allowed to say his answer, I think I should be allowed to say mine. And the answer is the answer is Jack Swagger, because the other two can't do push-ups.
My answer would be ice cream because it's the only one able to keep its cool around the ring.
Oh, God!
The
Push-ups are an ice
because
cream.
it's the only one that people want.
Okay, let's move on to our second triplet, which is Brodus Clay, Evan Bourne, and a rainbow. So Brodus Clay,
GoldenEye,
Evan Bourne, and a
GoldenEye.
rainbow. GoldenEye's broadcasting me twice. That's great.
I missed the things because GoldenEye was all buzzing out.
I'm sorry. Brodus Clay, Evan Bourne, and a rainbow. So, which one is the odd one out there?
Well, it'd have to be the Rainbow because it doesn't seem like it has taken illicit drugs in the past.
Brodus Clay because Brodus Clay because it's the only one that flies through the air.
Brodus Clay because he's the only one we haven't seen before.
Brodus Clay because Born sees the rainbows when he's on Spice.
Brodus Clay because he's the only one that's not high.
Evan Bourne because he's the rarest in winter.
Sorry, I missed that, Rico.
Evan Bourne because Evan Bourne because he rarest appears in winter.
The actual answer is all three are the odd one out because all three of them only appear once in a while.
The rainbows are the only that are over.
You can have a point for that. Okay, let's move on to our third and final triplet, which is Michael Cole, Brock Lesnar, and a game of Monopoly. So Michael Cole, Brock Lesnar, and a game of Monopoly.
Brock Lesnar, because no one could stand the other two.
Whoa, there's so many answers there. RMD, you can go first. Go on.
Game of Monopoly because it's the only one that hasn't been made a bitch by The Undertaker.
Michael Cole because he's the most boring.
Brock Lesnar because he's the only one that he's the only one that people in the universally don't hate.
Brock Lesnar because he's the only one that's not DLC.
The game of
Monopoly because it's the only one with a proper finish, even if it's just flipping over the table.
Brock Lesnar because he's the only one that ever ends. Never goes away.
The game of Monopoly because it's the only one that doesn't have a dick routinely aimed at its mouth.
Damn. Okay, let's have that round there.
I haven't said mine. Brock Lesnar because Brock Lesnar doesn't have a reading railroad.
Okay, at the end of that round, still ahead with 59 points, our team Laryngitis. Just behind with 58 points, our team Wobblecore Wob Wob. Let's move on to our general round, which this week is all about looking for a job. And if I'm correctly, this week in the market are our team captains, WindowDump and RMD. So let's have a look at this week's question. Since nothing of note happened this week, apart from a film about Chris Benoit being made, but we're just going to pretend that never happened, we decided to look at actual news this week for inspiration. Now, I've been looking for a job for the past 6 months, well, actively the last 3 months, and I stumbled upon the worst CV ever, written by a man named Benedict Lagauche, and features such gems as my responsibilities included seeing how dirty I could let the building get before cleaning it back to that exact standard. So this week, I would like the panels to have a look at some of the CVs of wrestlers and any interesting, honest truths that are hidden away within their applications. So, let's go to WindowDump first. Any wrestlers' CVs that catch your attention and any entries that you find inside?
Well, I think it'd probably be John Morrison because, he can list all of his credentials other than wrestling for an entire page. He can mention that he knows how to break dance, he knows parkour, he wants to be an actor, he knows various kinds of flashy martial art, or possibly he just knows how to break dance really, really well. He's got appearances on all kinds of various TV shows, Tough Enough, The Dirt Sheet, Z, True Long Island Story, none of which had any actual wrestling on them. Well, maybe Tough Enough did. I haven't actually watched the old seasons, but, after all of that, you can cite his, role in the WWE as the guy who wears fur coats and poses in front of pyros in slow motion and sometimes does flips and never actually really wrestles. But finally, at the end, you can, list all of his wrestling stuff, and the fact that he's a wrestler who has all these things that he does really well other than wrestling means that he's going to be a perfect fit for Impact Wrestling.
I was disappointed you got to list his credentials. He was assistant Raw general manager and a former ECW champion. There's loads of other things there, but I'm sure that was all sarcasm and satire. Let's go over to RMD. Any wrestler CV that you've found interesting this week?
Well, I've actually got a couple, but the thing is they didn't come with any names. I got one here. The qualifications say that he personally brought the world of professional wrestling to the mainstream. He can lift over 45,000 pounds of, what is this, Andrew the Giant. He's played in front of crowds of 17 million people. And he keeps talking about his family. I don't know why this is, but there's like 23 references to his brothers in here. I don't know what's going on here with this one. I've got another one here. This guy, I'm looking at it right now. He seems to have some work in. He seems to have expertise in the electrical field. He may have had a drug problem. I'm seeing references to being down in rock bottom, and but the thing is, he doesn't have any work experience in the last 7 years, and it says that he's trying to seek work in the field right now, but his job history in the last few months is just not very good. In the past year, he's only worked twice. And then I've got one more over here that, looking at it, it's this guy. Okay, he's got a really good work history and everything, but the thing is, after being around, after having so many jobs over the years, he got to the top of his field. Well, I'm just gonna say it. He drank a lot on the job. Most of the stuff here, I'm being completely serious. This guy talks a lot about drinking beer on the job, and then, he's got a real sociopathic streak here. He's talking about throwing things into rivers and all that. And now it seems all he does is just. It seems he posts on Twitter all day, every day. That's what it is in here. I mean, he shows up at his old job occasionally to just bug people, and I think he's assaulted his boss a few times in the last few months. But it seems that all it is just Twitter and assaulting his former coworkers, and I don't know what to make of this stuff.
All I can say is RMD for Executive Vice President of Talent Relations. Let's have a look at the scores after that round. 64 points, our team Wobble, Wob, Wob. And with jumping into the lead with 69 points, our team Laryngitis. So, we move on to our final round, which is spontaneous promotion, where the teams try and make up some final points before heading into Defend the Indefensible. 2 members of each team will randomly select a wrestler, situation, and wildcard by using the letters A to D. Bonus points will be given for good impressions and remaining in character as much as possible. It's almost Christmas, and it's almost our Christmas show, so to get everyone in the spirit of Christmas, this week we're going to follow Buddy the Elf's advice. The best way to spread Christmas cheer is to sing loud for all to hear. So our wildcards are all Christmas carols, which I would like the teams to use to deliver their promos in. So if you're given a carol, I'd like you to sing it in that voice. You don't have to sing, but just in the same rhythm. So team captains, who have you selected to be spontaneously promoted? Let's go over to the team slightly behind this week. Let's go to Wobblecore Wob Wob. Who have you selected, WindowDump?
Yeah, I knew I was forgetting something while I was blasting the Skrillex. Not Rico, are you good at impressions?
Well, I did the generic Macho Man one a couple of weeks ago. I didn't know how that went down, but go for it.
Alright, yeah, you can do it. I'll do it too.
So WindowDump and NotRico, okay. And, sorry, RMD, who have you selected?
I've selected Punker because, well, it's Punker. She's awesome. And I'm selecting myself because it's Christmas carols and I like singing.
Okay, so
Christ.
WindowDump, NotRico, and Punker. Okay, WindowDump, you get free reign of the board this week. What would you like to pick?
BAD, that's what my last round was.
BAD, bad. Okay, you are R-Truth. You are promoting a new line of custom cookware based on yourself. And I would like you to deliver your promo to the song Deck the Halls. So, R-Truth, new line of cookware to Deck the Halls. Whenever you're ready.
Dun, 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 dun. Over there, what's up? Truth Custom Cookware, that's what's up. What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up?
What's up?
What's up?
Black Spoons is up. Deck the halls with Truth's Custom Cookware. Yo, 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 yo. What's up, little Jimmies? Buy all my stuff like the frying pans. What's up? What's up? Deck the halls, yeah. Buy my knives and buy my spoons and my forks and my knives and my spoons and my forks, y'all. Buy my spice pots with lots of shakers. Ha 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 ha. What's up? That's what's up.
The catch is they're all back.
And that's the truth.
I'm gonna give you. I gave you a bonus 2 points at the end for managing to do that as both Deck the Halls and a remix of Deck the Halls, which I never knew was possible. Let's go to Punker. Your letter combination for this week. Hello, Punker.
Oh, it's my turn. Safe connection.
Yes. What would you? What letter combination would you like to choose?
BBC.
ABC. Easy as 1, 2, 3.
BBC.
Oh, sorry, BB. Oh, you can't choose BBC.
But B is
B's
gone.
already gone. B's already gone.
Okay, ABC.
ABC it is. All right. That makes sense. You are Macho Man Randy Savage. You have just won the Christmas Divas Bra and Panties Battle Royal. And you will. I'd like you to deliver this promo to the Christmas Carol, the 12 Days of Christmas. So that's Macho Man Randy Savage, just won the Christmas Divas Bra and Panties Battle Royal to the theme of 12 Days of Christmas. Whenever you're ready, Pungo.
Ooh, yeah! In the Bra and Panties match, Elizabeth gave to me a little slut. Ooh, I wonder what this could mean. On the second night of this Bra and Panties match, Elizabeth gave to me... Yes. Whoops, her clothes come off. Just like that magic, the Tower of Power, too sweet to be sour. Ooh, yeah. I'm sorry.
I was hoping you were going to go for all 12 days, but that will do. That will do for us, I think.
I didn't want to get too much time.
You're ill. It's all right. It's okay. Do you know what? I'll give you an extra point because you're ill and you did an impression of Macho Man Randy Savage.
Can I put in something?
And I went into the danger zone with a very controversial match.
Can I put in something?
I won't give you any points for it, DoctorDuckTape, but you can go for it if you like.
Oh yeah. Okay. On the 12th day of Christmas that God gave to the Macho Man, 12 Slim Jim snapping, 11... Ah, fuck, I had it all in my head too.
11 elbow dropping.
11 elbow dropping.
I'll let
10 Tories corpsing.
We'll move on. We'll move on.
9 Stephanie McMahons.
The Macho Man gave to himself some pants. Oh yeah.
Stealing the thunder. Okay, let's go to Not Rico. Your letter combination, please.
What's left?
You've got C and D, and then A and B.
I'll have C, D, B.
C, D, B. Okay, you are Stone Cold Steve Austin. You are trying to convince John Laryngitis that your petition to get Jonah Hill a WWE title shot has enough signatures. And I would like you to deliver this promo to the Christmas Carol, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. So, Stone Cold Steve Austin, Jonah Hill a WWE title shot, and Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. When you're ready.
Dun 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 dun. Jonah Hill is good, and you should give him the shot. Cause my name is Stone Cold. What? And he was in the film with Bobby Kotick.
What?
And if you ever saw him, he would
What?
draw money.
What? What?
He's Jonah Hill, the actor.
What?
What?
And he was in a thing called Alan Gregory.
What?
You don't know it.
What?
And that's the
What?
bottom line, because Rudolph said so.
What?
Oh my gosh.
Managing to do a promo over all of that, my friend. Points everywhere. Okay. And we come to RMD.
Johnny, the man with the strange voice, had a very big problem. Stone Cold was in front of him, ready in a boot with the toe. Johnny, the man with the strange voice, had to give Jonah Hill the shot. Otherwise, Johnny with the strange voice would be going bound with the star. I didn't get to the end. I had it all written out, okay?
See, you should have done this round. Okay,
You see, Stone Cold, I listen to you, but really, I just don't get it. Why are you singing this to me? You could just talk to me like a normal person, or better yet, text me. That's what I do all the time.
Everyone's taking over. Okay, RMD, you get this week's Slim Pickings, which means you
I kind
are...
of like the slim pickings.
This week's going to be very interesting. You are CM Punk. You are announcing your retirement due to an anal bleeding injury. And I would like you to deliver this promo to the Christmas Carol Jingle Bells. So, CM Punk. CM Punk, I'm just going to give you a hint at what you should use as the chorus for your promo. Anal bleeding injury to the tune of Jingle Bells. RMD, whenever you are ready, take us away.
Okay, scene comes out before I even start. Scene comes out, you know that CM Punk came out for the promo. He came out in the Stone Cold shirt. Imagine he's coming out in a big green Christmas sweater. Okay. Oh, I'm bleeding out the ass, and they wanted me to come out here and tell you guys just what's going on in the back. But you know what? I'm so fed up with the politics on here, I don't feel like wrestling anymore. So, I'm going to give you guys just a little bit of Christmas spirit before I get on out of here, and I say screw you to the entirety of the wrestling community. 1, 2, 3, 4. Bleeding out my ass. I'm sins of Vince McMahon. I can't do anything back here, so I have got a plan. Gonna take my butt to the butt doctor today, and then I'll quit WWE. Oh, I'm not going to DNA. Oh, bleeding ass, bleeding ass. I hate this company. They won't hire Cabana, so you can just kiss my... I can't say that it's PG. Oh, bleeding ass, fuck this company. Waving goodbye for the last time. Sayonara, WWE. This is the greatest
a miracle. A moment like this. Some people
Christmas death and Christmas is cancelled.
That was the greatest moment of shoot promo history right there.
All I can say is it's all downhill from here. Right. Okay, let's have a look at the scores if we need to.
Not really.
It's 83 points to 74 this week, which is probably the most points ever scored by either team, and probably the most points cumulatively scored. This week's winners with 83 points. Surprisingly, our team Laryngitis. Won by a hemorrhoidal an anal bleeding injury sung to a Christmas song. Who would have thunk it? Only on this show could that have happened.
It was pretty close until the end.
It was. Okay, so that's not all though, of course, because we have to defend the indefensible, which is where we find out who is the true champion of shoot promo within this week's winning team. The team captain will assign himself, both himself and his teammates, with a letter A, B, or C. Each letter corresponds to a statement that no wrestling fan could possibly defend, but they will have to for a 30-second period. The person that defends the statement in the best manner will be declared this week's winner. The players will be judged by the defeated team of Team Wobblecore Wob Wob. And if there is a tie, I will cast the deciding vote. So, RMD, if you've recovered from your anal bleeding, who are you assigning what letter?
I'm going to give Punker A, going to give myself B, and DDT gets a C on the QT ASAP.
So many abbreviations everywhere. Okay, Punker, are you ready?
I am.
Okay, here we go. Your statement this week to defend is: this year's table match should involve having to construct an IKEA table to win. Your time starts now.
Well, it's obvious because IKEA is becoming a massive draw in the United States, perhaps in the rest of the world. So, of course, it would make sense to have a very cheap match and not a Table of Japan match, because the IKEA tables are designed so that they can break and they can get more Swedish money. Damn, how many seconds do I have left?
5.
Okay, I think I managed with that within 30.
You did. Well done. Okay, let's move on. Let's go to RMD. Statement B. Are you ready?
Sure.
Okay. Rock versus Cena should be called off in favor for one last Chavo versus Hornswoggle.
Hold on, wait, time out. You're going to have to say that again. You went into Robo Redman.
Alright, Rock versus Cena should be called off in favor of one last Chavo versus Hornswoggle match. Your time starts now.
Well, of course it should happen. I mean, let's face it, Hornswoggle spent more time in the ring in the last 3 months than Rocky spent in the last 3 years. Then you get a guy like Chavo. I mean, Chavo and Hornswoggle work well together. They only had a program for 9 months. Cena's in there. You know how it's going to happen. Cena's going to win, lol. Because, let's face it, it's John Cena. He's going to win in the main event of WrestleMania. It's only happened, one time that he didn't? And it was against The Miz when they tried to push him. And that's not happening anymore, so Cena's got to win. The booking is all there.
Okay. And last but no means least, the defending champion, DoctorDuckTape. Are you ready?
My body is ready.
I don't think anyone has ever managed to retain the title for 3 weeks in a row.
Yeah, I think this one's got RMD written all over it.
Well, let's see. Okay, here we go. Your statement to defend this week is: on the 2nd of January 2012, John Cena will crawl out of the TV, out of the ring, steal all the children, and still not turn heel. Your time starts now.
Oh, I mean, totally. John Cena calling out of the TV is only the next logical step for the WWE, considering the fact he's tried to connect in every way to the WWE Universe's children without touching them up in private places. Yeah, but, you know, we could take them off to John Cena's new palace of, Wonderland, his new Wonderland, his new mansion, where they can all live out happily, going, you can't see me every morning, until eventually he goes on a murderous rampage. But we'll skip that part.
Okay. Okay, so WindowDump, NotRicoRodiguez, and GoldenEye. If you could send me your votes, you just have to right-click my name and send me a message. And we will see who this week's winner of episode 10 is, as I'm trying to pad out the silence whilst I wait for all of the votes to come in. And they are all in. Here we go. And it looks like we have a winner. It's a unanimous winner with 3 votes. This week's winner of episode 10 of Shoot Promo is RMD!
RMD wins, lol.
RMD wins, lol.
DDT status.
RMD.
You're going back to the mid-card, brother.
Will that be the case,
Some adversity on Shoot Promo.
Will that be the case, of course, in 2 weeks' time when RMD takes on myself, Brian Alvarez, and Matthew in our Christmas show hosted by Cobra T. Washington? Should also remind you, we do have our Season 2 sign-up on our Facebook. Thank you for listening to this episode. And don't forget, if you like what you heard and you want to get more involved with the show, you can follow us on Twitter at @ShootPromoShow.
Twitter.
Wait a minute. I totally forgot I was supposed to announce something.
You are going to announce possibly next week, maybe. Who knows? Like us on Facebook.com, ShootPromo. And let us know what you think of the shows, as well as find details on how to be part of our audience. That just leaves me to thank this week's teams, which were Team Laryngitis, headed by this week's winner, RMD.
No, actually, I deliberately have nothing this week.
Oh, good. This week's vagina, Punker.
Sugar, spice, and anything nice don't make the little girls. They make the wellness violations.
Ooh.
Nice.
Sadly, our defeated champion, he didn't manage 3 in a row. It's DoctorDuckTape.
I just want one more shot at the Shoot Promo title. Come on,
One
Andy.
more
match.
One more match.
One more match.
Our losing team this week, which was Team Wobblecore Wob, which was led by WindowDump Dump.
I think it proves once and for all that dubstep is worse than laryngitis.
I don't think that was ever debated. Joined, of course, by GoldenEye.
Unga Bunga Shoot Promo.
And not Rico. I was your host, Red Reddington. Mint, stop the recording!
Oh.